Hello, everyone. Welcome to, I think this is our 5th episode of Real Talk with Amber. And I'm here with Emily Mauri. Is that how you say your last name?
You can say it however you want.
Well, how is the
In
correct
Germany, they say
pronunciation?
Mauri, most people say here. So.
Okay. Well, I know German, so that's
Yes.
probably why I got it right.
Yes.
All right. So I'm here with Emily. She is the owner of JAR, the Zero Waste Shop. And she is so intriguing to me because honestly, the first time I ever heard about a zero waste lifestyle, I was watching the Food Network.
Oh, interesting.
And I was watching, I think it was Chopped, and they had someone come in who lived a zero waste lifestyle, and he was like to the extreme.
Right.
He was like dumpster diving.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in like grocery store garbage bins to get the waste that they would throw out at night.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, I could never do that. So we'll push that one to the side. But then I met you, and you kind of opened my eyes to what zero waste is. And yes, that is
for normal people.
Normal people. I hate that word.
I know,
but
me too. I mean that in the nicest way.
Yeah. I guess just a way that all of us can make steps into a zero waste lifestyle. And she was kind of that person who opened my eyes to that. Yeah.
Yay.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what zero waste is, what got you started,
Yes.
Why are you so passionate about it? So I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Okay. So first, yay, that makes my heart happy, because ultimately that is my main goal, is to not be extreme. I don't want people to come in my store and think, oh, I have to have no garbage can, or I have to, do all of these things in order to be zero waste. Zero waste is a term. Technically, if we were zero waste, we would be foraging our own food,
Yes.
dumpster diving. So it is a term that gets used very loosely in our industry, in the world. But it's meant, I think the intentions of it are good.
Yes.
Because, of course, the less waste we have, the better it is for our environment. And the environment is, our ultimate goal is to do the least harm to the environment as possible, in whatever we do. So if it's composting, if it's, recycling is a whole nother
Yes,
podcast.
yes, for sure.
But, but recycling, the things you put in your recycling are still, in my mind, considered waste, because they don't get recycled. And, I think it's like 9% actually gets recycled.
Right.
So we're just reducing your household waste, which I think a great start is food. If you start taking food out of your garbage and putting it in a composter, and I've been reading other ways you can compost just by grinding your food down in a blender and pouring it directly on your garden outside.
That's
It's called cold composting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways you can do that. My passion with this started, it wasn't like overnight. I didn't just wake up and was like, oh, I want to be zero waste. I am, my husband and I own a fly fishing business. And if you have ever met a fly fisherman, you have met a conservationist, because we spend a lot of time outdoors. My husband spends well over 200 days a year on the water. So moving to Florida 4 years ago and being on the ocean was even a whole new, epiphany for us of,
Sure.
wow, there is so much junk and pollution in the water. It's microplastics, and it's again another podcast.
Right.
Though we have a lot of topics, but I'll try to keep it simple, because if there are beginners, again, I don't want people to get overwhelmed. And that's even myself, I still get overwhelmed by, how much there is. So I always tell people it is a balance. Every little bit that you do counts. So whether it's like, I was just telling Amber that I stopped drying my hair with a hair dryer. And that was, one of the little things that I'd done, just to not use as much electricity. I quit. One of the biggest moments for me, I have to say, which was very small. So let me backtrack a little bit. 2 years ago, I traveled as part of Patagonia Action Works. Patagonia is a company that I have been a fan of since I was 15, and I was skiing in Pennsylvania. And they do a ton of environmental activism, and they have a program called Patagonia Action Works. And I traveled with them for 2 years in a row, and I educated the fly fishing communities on kind of our water crisis here in Stewart, the Everglades, and what we can do to kind of, more on a political level, become active. So all of their employees are pretty much live in the same way that the company promotes themselves. And we were, I think, in Atlanta, and one of the guys we were traveling with said, Like I just stopped buying anything that comes in plastic, like in the grocery store. Like when you would go to the store, he wouldn't buy like a water bottle or even like a vitamin water bottle. And I was like, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Like if you can commit to that and, buy something in an aluminum can or a glass bottle or bring your own.
Yes.
And that was like a kind of to me like, oh, that's a pretty simple step. If you can commit to one thing like that, it creates a domino effect.
Yeah, it's kind of like the grocery bag movement, right?
Yes.
So my brother and sister-in-law live in Hawaii, and they don't allow plastic bags there at all. You either have to bring your own bag, or they have the sturdier, reusable plastic bags that you can purchase. They don't give them away anymore, so they're making it harder for people to shop without reusable bags, which is brilliant. And it's kind of the same concept, right? So I normally travel, I forgot it this morning, but thankfully I'm here and she has charcoal filtered water and a reusable cup.
Silicone is one of my favorites.
Yes. But I normally travel with my aluminum bottle. It goes everywhere I go, except for when I'm really tired in the morning, which is now. So I travel with that, and I just keep refilling it. And it's brilliant even for the airports, because airports charge like $5 for a bottle of water.
Yes.
I don't. I carry mine. I empty it before I go through security. Once I'm through security, I go to Starbucks and I ask them to fill it with ice and water.
And a lot of airports now have the refillable, right above their water fountains. Yep. They're getting on board. So it's becoming a global movement. And something I want to talk about a little bit, and I think for the naysayers, it sparks a little bit of truth to it, is I don't think that when we think about this, we don't, when they started making plastic in the 70s, our population was a lot less.
Oh, yeah.
Our population is like quadrupling. I think it's like every 10 years, and they expect it to get more. So we're talking about, I wish I knew the numbers off the top of my head because I was just reading about it, but it's so, the difference is so large that you think like in 10 years, if we keep making plastic, we're already eating it on some level. It is just, there's going to be nowhere for it to go.
Yeah.
There is literally nowhere for it to go.
Right.
So that is for me kind of one of the concerns, even living in Florida with, I think it's 100 people a day moving to Florida. And we see the effects, I think, because we live on a coast. And that's something moving from like inland Pennsylvania. I was still environmentally conscious, but a whole new level when I moved to Florida.
Yeah, because you see this stuff washing up on not even the beaches, but just like.
Even when you're out in the water, it's just, there's garbage everywhere. And there's, and that's what we have a lot of great people here, like my trash art. They go and pick up trash every day, and it is unreal how much trash washes. And it's not from us necessarily, it's from other countries. It's from other places that it comes to us naturally. So it's very scary when you see it firsthand every single day. So that's probably one of the things that started my activism a little bit more, as opposed to living inland and in an area where you would see it in the streams and rivers, but like nothing like you see it from an ocean perspective.
So when did you know that you wanted to make this your full-time gig, I guess?
Okay, so my daughter went to a program called Fish for Change this last May. And we had to do fundraising. It was part of the program. And I'm not super crafty, so I was trying to think of something I could do to sell. So I started making beeswax wraps, and Jen, our local beekeeper, donated the beeswax, and I came in here, and the girl that had previously owned it was, super on board with letting me sell them in here, gave us 100% of the profits. So I started coming in here more and more. And it's a feeling, you know what I mean? More than I can say, like this moment, it's just every time I came in, I just got more and more involved. And, it took my stuff to a whole new level. So I was talking to Brandy, the previous owner, on a regular basis, and her desire to leave because she was very young and felt confined. And I was thinking, I'm 41, I want to be confined at this age, and it gives me a platform. So my desire was more like a feeling than it was like I want. It was more like when I came in here, I was just like, this feels good. So I put it to the side because I didn't think it was possible. And I remember I was driving by here one night and the light was on, And I was like, my soul was in that store.
Yeah.
I'm getting chills right now thinking about that. And so I came in, I think a few days later, and made her an offer. And the next Monday I was in here working.
Wow.
So it was very serendipitous, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, because she got to go on to college and fulfill her dream. And this, which I didn't know until recently, really is a passion and a dream of mine, is to have a platform to educate. That is probably like my biggest passion in here, is to educate and for people to have a place to come and build a community. And again, it doesn't have to be extreme. It doesn't have to be, you know, you don't have to be a certain way. It's, if you do one thing, you're welcome to come in and be a part of it. You know, one little thing.
One of the things that I love about what you are doing, because you are making it a community. So if you could just grab that mosaic behind you.
Oh, yes.
So this is just one of the projects that she will have somebody come in and teach. You know, you have this leftover glass or whatever the case may be, turn it into something that you're going to use instead of throwing it away.
Yes.
Same thing with holiday gift wrap. That's a huge passion of hers. So I'm going to bring that up.
Yes.
Holiday gift wrap, so much paper goes to landfills. So,
and the shiny paper, not to interrupt you, is not recyclable. Like any shiny gift wrap and most wrapping paper is not recyclable. So we actually in here are doing gift wrapping. I've been saving a big pile of what looks like junk, but it's, I mean, I even have like old costume jewelry. We are going to turn it into beautiful gift wrapping, which again, when you start doing things like that and getting more involved, it makes the gift even more personable.
Right.
Because you're not, you know, you're not just buying something, unwrapping the plastic around it and wrapping it and throwing it in the garbage. Most, you know, more than likely you can keep that and reuse it for your next gift.
Yeah. So all of that to say, she really is not just about getting people through the door or onto her website to buy more stuff. It really is about a movement trying to get people to be more thoughtful about every decision that they make when it comes to the environment. And one of the things that I will say is, I think one of the biggest contributors, if I'm not mistaken, you would know more than I, is China, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So a lot of the plastic that we consume and we purchase comes from them. So eliminating those purchases is huge.
Yeah, I think I just read, I think it's like 80% of plastic Christmas toys come from sweatshops in China.
Wow.
So when you're buying those plastic toys, you're supporting a child who's working in China for nothing, you know? Absolutely. And that's, you know, and those little things matter. I mean, because now we know, you know, but when we were growing up, we didn't have the internet.
Right.
We didn't have all of this information. And I think that is why I say that our youth right now are going to save us.
Yeah.
Because they have the information.
Right.
They can go fact check. They're not just being told something and they believe it. You know, they can go and cross check and find the information. And I feel like once you know, then it's your responsibility.
Absolutely. So all that to say, if you are a fast food eater and your kids love those Happy Meals and whatever other kind of, you know, fast food kid programs, tell them to leave the toy out. I mean, are they really going to miss it? Because you know just as well as I know, they play with it for 3 minutes and then they throw it away.
Yes.
It's the same way as, again, for some people, this might seem extreme. I don't think it's extreme at all, but I carry this little plastic straw, right? So when I go through and get my, you know, whatever, I tell them, don't give me a straw.
Yeah. And those little steps, you think about it. If 8 billion people would say no, you know, no straw. And that's, you know, you think it's small, but it's not, because it's always about more than just us.
Right.
And one of the things I've started doing that I don't think is extreme, because the styrofoam, you know, I hate styrofoam more than anything else. But even when I go to a restaurant, I try, and even if it's, you do not have to buy a fancy stainless steel container. You probably have Tupperware or something at home. But when you go to a restaurant and you're getting your to-go food, instead of taking that styrofoam, most places are more than happy to put it in your own container to take home. And I think that's a big thing. And so how do I punish myself if I forget it, is I make myself eat the rest of my food that I want to take home. And then even now when I forget my shopping bags, I put everything in the cart and I roll it out to my car, because I think that's kind of like, if I keep doing that, then I won't forget. So I still have to make myself, you know, reminders as well.
For sure. So, the beeswax wraps that you did, can you grab one and then show people what they look like and how they function?
Of course. So the beeswax wraps are meant to replace things like saran wrap. They're a little bit, they feel sticky. It's beeswax, pine resin, and jojoba oil melted down, and then I paint it on. And you can use these to take your sandwich or snacks, or I use mine mostly for produce in the fridge. Like I'll wrap up my whole thing of kale in it.
Mm-hmm.
You can freeze in them for up to 3 weeks. It's still breathable because it's beeswax. But 3 weeks is a good time, like to wrap something up, throw it in the freezer. Mm-hmm. And this will, as you kind of touch it, it gets warm. And you can, I'll use mine. And you can put it kind of like over something. And as you press, as it cools off, it will actually seal.
So the heat from your hand actually helps seal it.
It does, yes.
Because it warms it up.
It warms it up a little bit. So that's the only thing you can't do with it though is heat it up.
Right.
And it's very simple to wash. I just take a little bit of soap under cool water and rub it like this, rinse it off, hang it to dry, and you're good for at least 6 months with this.
Yeah.
And what I tell people now that I have a store is if they bring me it back, when I do my next batch, I'll refresh it for them.
Oh, that's great.
Because it's easy. I just, you paint it on, bake it, paint it on again, and bake it again.
Yeah.
So,
well, I personally use those. My husband takes his lunch every day. The first round that
that's why I started laughing.
I wrap his sandwiches with it, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was, I thought you threw it away afterwards." And I was like, "No!"
I remember that. That's why I started laughing as soon as you said that. Yeah.
So you don't want to throw them away. They are reusable. Use them. So with the holidays coming up,
yes.
Because I didn't do this at first, I just kind of want to give everybody an idea of what your shop looks like. So we start over here. We have some
handmade jewelry.
I'm going to try to keep this steady so people will keep watching.
Handmade jewelry is a great gift for holidays, birthdays. It's something a little bit outside of zero waste, if you will, but it supports artisans, and we all love jewelry.
Yes, for sure.
And it's not something you throw away. It's something you can keep forever and ever. Yeah. And then we have...
I'm just going to hang here and let you kind of walk around.
We have a variety of soaps. Some are local made. Another is made from a friend of mine in Pennsylvania that I support. She's actually opening a zero waste store as well.
Great.
Yes. I think December 1st. We have toothbrushes is a big one. This is one of my biggest selling items in the store. It takes 400 years for your plastic toothbrush to decompose. So the bamboo toothbrush, this one, it specifically has vegetable fibers. So it is actually, this is compostable when you're done, like in your backyard compost.
Awesome.
So it's pretty amazing. And one of the things I've added to the store, which has been kind of my baby, is a soap refill station. So we encourage people to bring their plastic jugs in and refill them. We have laundry detergent, dish soap, hand soap, shampoos, conditioners, 3 different pastilles. And that way, again, we all have the plastic laundry jugs, even myself. And instead of throwing it out or putting it in your recycling, you can just come in and fill it up. And then,
that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, this is also, I have to talk about this because I never thought I would love another eco-friendly laundry detergent as much as I love this until I got this. And this comes from a woman in Florida who makes them. And you dissolve this into 1 gallon of water, and it makes an entire gallon of laundry detergent.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't have a scent, so you can add a scent if you want, like of essential oils. You only need a ½ ounce for a whole load.
Wow.
So it does 256 loads.
Holy moly.
And I've been using this, and I have to say, I really like it. When my clothes come out, they smell like nothing, which sometimes I like that.
Yeah.
It's very neutral smelling.
Sure.
So this is really good also for people who have allergies. Or
I was just going to say skin sensitivities.
Nice, and then let me take you over here because we have local honey. And we sell it in glass jars. And I also have it in refills. So you can bring in your containers and fill them up. And then we have a variety of herbs and spices, some snack type food, and I keep staple items in rice, beans, salt, cereal, oatmeal, things like that. And then I have 4 local roasted coffees.
Okay.
So, which was one of the things that my customers when I bought the store, they wanted this specific coffee that was here before. And I was like, let's just try the local. And I actually gave them, and they have all come back and been like, okay, we want to keep this.
Awesome. That's
so,
great.
we try to support local when we can. And I do carry local eggs, and I have to talk about the elderberry syrup because that is my biggest selling item in the whole store. Yeah. And we have a local woman who makes these. It's called an elderberry kit.
And for people who don't know, what is elderberry used for?
Elderberry is an amazing berry that is used for if you're getting sick, if you have the flu, if you have a cold, allergies. And this makes a syrup. It comes with instructions, and it is, you can add local honey or not. You know, like for vegans, you would just do that. You can add ginger, and people swear by it. I swear by it now because we've been using, I think we have 4 people in the house, so we're on our 5th round of it, and only one person has been sick, and she was the only one not taking it. So now she asks for it. She's 7. So, but yeah, so we, you know, and this also again supports a local mom who is a customer of mine. So it's, yeah, and that's the part of the community that I love that we're building, is we're supporting each other. We're also being a part of a bigger movement. Yes. Which is, you know, our environment, which is so important.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm standing in front of a shelf that has some really great, I think, gift ideas. Yeah, if you want to make it an eco-friendly Christmas or holiday or Hanukkah or whatever it is you're celebrating. Yes. These are going to be some, oh my gosh, how cute.
And they smell good. And I think I just made a post about candles, how bad they are, like regular scented candles.
Yeah, they are.
More poisonous than diesel fuel.
Oh my gosh.
You breathe it in. And then I had a friend of mine from Pennsylvania posted, she has birds, and you can't burn candles if you have birds because it kills the bird. So it has to be,
Wow.
And then we also have some reusable straws. Those are
sealed.
I have one that's not. And these are a bigger, they come
those
in
would go size. For like boba tea, right?
Yeah. Or smoothies, like if you're a smoothie person. And this is also another popular item. It's just a little, again, something you can take with you, throw in your purse or your bag. My husband, I throw it on the boat for him when he's going out fishing. And then you have everything you need to not use plastic, plastic silverware, utensils. You have a straw and even a cleaner in there. So this is a nice
And you could literally, that's small enough, you could pop that in your purse and just carry it with you. Because I know I've been to like certain smaller pizza shops where if you get a salad or something, you have to use their plasticware, and instead you could just pull that out
and use it. And and this one's really nice because it has like a water resistant lining, so even if you put it in there dirty, like you're not ruining the material. You can
and it looks like that has a straw brush in there too to clean the inside of your straw. So that's
great. One of the biggest complaints about straws. Which is why I personally like the silicone. I'm a big silicone fan. Because sorry, I'm walking you back over here. When I first got this is the first piece of silicone that I ever got, and I was like, how eco-friendly is this real? Because it feels like rubber. So I started doing my homework, and silicone is amazingly eco-friendly. It is not compostable, but they can break it down in commercial compost facilities. And it literally gives off zero gas, like zero fumes, nothing when it's broken down. It goes completely into its natural state and can be recycled over and over again like aluminum. For plastic, when it's like recycled, it only, it breaks down. It's not as strong each time. Silicone can be recycled over and over again. So then I took it to another level by contacting the companies that I get my silicone from and being like, well, hey, what do we do with this when we're done? So all of the ones I have in here can be sent back to that facility and they will recycle it because we don't have commercial composting here yet. Okay. So I try, if I have something like that, to follow through with the other side of it. Like, well, what do I do when I'm done? You can bring it back here. Awesome. I've been telling people that anything you don't want, bring here, and I will find a way to either reuse it, repurpose it, give it away, or contact a place that we can maybe send one. We try to collect things because, again, you get into, the carbon footprint of shipping and all of that. But I feel like if you collectively do it, it's a much more eco-friendly way to do things.
For sure. And one of the things, this is kind of a side note that I love, is sometimes you have little fashion pop-ups in here where people can take their clothes that they don't want anymore, and you can shop from each other's clothes.
We just took that down for the holidays because we need the space. But we had one, when I first bought the store, we had a clothing swap, and everyone loved it, and they wanted to keep doing it. So I keep a rack typically, and I'll bring it back after the holidays. And we sell everything for like 50 cents or $1. And then when we get to $50, we donate the money. And it gives people, they can bring it in any time. I go through it and just keep items hung out there. And it does. People really like that.
Yeah, very cool. Well, let's do a couple more Christmas gift ideas or holiday gift ideas. These silicone bags right here are so cute and they're brilliant. I think a lot of people don't know that they even exist.
These are great replacement for Ziplocs.
Ziplocs.
And we have 2. This one is more for snacks, or I even thought like when you're going on an airplane.
Oh yeah,
you can pack your things in and still see it. And these are nice because they're more like a cup. I thought for some of my dry goods, they might be nice to just go in and fill them up. And also to store like gravy, things like that for the holidays. You can dishwasher, microwave. You can stick this baby in a boiling pot of water and steam your vegetables in it if you want.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's, again, it's not like plastic. You're not getting those fumes and the toxins from the plastic.
And it's not going to leach into your food like plastic
exactly.
would.
Yeah. And that's why I'm such a big fan. The Eco lunchboxes, again, you don't have to have a fancy lunchbox, but if you want one, we also don't.
They're really cool.
They are, and they have actually.
I like the bamboo one. Personally.
Yeah, this one. This one is nice because this doubles as a cutting board. So I feel like it's very, it's very fancy.
Yeah.
And pretty. And there's also nothing wrong with wanting pretty eco-friendly things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an investment. This is, these are I call them investment pieces because you will have it forever. And,
or the people you're giving it to for
or
Christmas
the people you're giving
will have it forever.
Will have it forever. So it's an investment piece that you only have to buy once.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, for sure.
We have lots of cute little things too, like homemade lined pouches for your kid's lunchbox.
Those are super cute.
Yeah, we try to hit
lots of cups, little tiny things of honey, which I do eat a primarily vegan diet, but I have a weakness for Jen's honey. And this
and I've been learning a little bit more about that because because I do have some diehard vegan customers that are not, but like she said, if they weren't doing what they're doing, we wouldn't have bees.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's important. And just like the beeswax is actually taken after they're done with it. Like they don't go in and take it from the bees. And it's like what's left over when they abandon their hives and go on.
Right. And I will say with Jen, who is the owner of Honey, did I say that right? Mm-hmm. She is very particular in how she raises her bees. She's very well educated and ethical in how
she's probably one of the most educated people I've ever met on bees. She goes all over the world, travels all over the world for bee education.
Right.
And right now we have only a few of these, and it is a limited edition vanilla spice honey.
It's so cute. Do you see the bee? He has a little Santa hat on.
It's so cute. Yes, I've actually been, just a side note for our Stewart people, the bees right now are very hungry. When I open the doors, they swarm in here. It is okay to take a little bit of honey and put that outside and feed them.
Oh, okay.
I asked because I didn't know, and I was like, oh, am I doing something against nature? And she said, no, I had to take all the buckets outside because there were so many. And I was like, and they're very friendly when they're hungry. I will say, if they're eating, they're not angry and not like dogs.
Right.
Or, other animals who are like ravages when they're eating. I was literally able to handcuff some of them and just take them out.
Yeah.
They're that hungry. And it was kind of sad when I learned that that's the reason they were coming in. So every few days, because now I feel like when I pull in, I get like a couple bees swarming around my head. So I'll take just a small cup and lay it on its side, because if you put it straight up, they'll drown, they get drowned in it. So I put it on its side, let it fall out over on the side of the building here. And by the time I go out a few hours later, it's gone.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go back over here. I'll edit that part out. But so the other thing that I love, and it's a very affordable option, I think, are your French market bags. Yeah. And I'm going to go get one if you don't mind.
There's so many things. That's why I'm trying to pick and choose it.
Yeah. So French market bags, I know that you've probably seen them being used in grocery stores. And I think that people don't understand the capacity that these things have.
Right?
They expand to I want to say 3 or 4 times their size.
Crazy, yes. And
because what happens is once you start putting apples and oranges and it just keeps going, and you can fit so much stuff in there.
It is. And it goes back. It doesn't stay. Yeah. That was the most impressive part for me, because it's it's going to get all frumpy looking, if you will. Yeah. And it doesn't. It really does.
Yeah, because it's not elastic.
Right.
It's not. But it does kind of expand to fit whatever you want. I mean, that would literally fit a watermelon.
Oh, yeah.
Not kidding.
Easy.
So.
And maybe more.
Yeah, for sure.
It's great for for jars too, because it it's when you put them in a bag that's stiff, they clunk together. So this is nice because it gives it a little bit of give.
Sure. So again, just another gift idea. Now, I do want to say that you do have an online store. Not everything that's in this store is available, just because it would be a nightmare to ship.
Yeah.
And I think you're new to the ownership of the store, so
Right.
a lot of things are still going online.
I'll be honest about the online. I at first did not want to do an online store because I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me to have to ship something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the footprint, the carbon footprint of that doesn't make sense. But then I had people message me, so many people, that I said, okay, we'll do it. And they said, like, we don't have that availability.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to drive somewhere very far, or order it from Amazon, or order it from one of these big box companies. So I was like, okay, you've convinced me to keep an online store. So I do, and I try to update it. I do give free shipping. If you put the code Climate Strike in, I always give free shipping, only because I haven't figured out how to do it without having a code, which Amber can maybe help me with at some point. But yeah, so if you can't get if you have a store close to you, please shop at your store close to you. But if not, please shop from my store.
Yes, for sure. Again, lots of really cool stuff for the holidays in here. So if you don't have that local option, certainly hop on. What is your website?
It is www.jarzerowaste.com.
So www.jarzerowaste.com, enter code Climate Strike, and you get free shipping, which is awesome, because that doesn't even happen with Amazon. You have to buy a Prime membership in order to get that. So they think it's free. No, you pay for that.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next time on Real Talk with Amber.
Bye.